Yankees keep on rolling. That is now 7 straight series wins, and now they're undefeated in 10 series. They're 8-0-2 in their last 10 series, won 7 straight series. They're 23-9 in their last 32 games, 17-5 in their last 22 games, and the streaks go on. And they had been 1-6 with a chance to sweep. They swept today. 2 more walk-off wins. We've been seeing the Yankees find new ways to win. The starting rotation has gone through the full rotation, meaning the last 5 starts, and has not given up a single run. So I believe that's 35 innings, no runs allowed. So they just continue to impress. If this pitching staff can stay healthy, it's definitely going to be a problem for opponents. Obviously you would expect them to, obviously not keep it up to this level. But here's the thing. Not that I fully trust Luis Severino, but he's waiting in the wings as well, coming back from Tommy John surgery, probably within the next couple of months. There's also Davy Garcia in AAA. So one of the things that I did like that Cashman did during the offseason, when he took a couple of chances on some guys, and certainly we saw Corey Kluber with a no-hitter his last outing. He's going to start next on Tuesday against Toronto. And then Jameson Taillon, who pitched earlier today, it's been a mixed bag. But again, if he's going to be your 5th starter, you take it. And health will be key. But the pitching really has just been absolutely magnificent. So let's get right into the series. And I was definitely concerned about Jordan Montgomery against this right-handed heavy White Sox team. They are first in just about every category when it comes to hitting versus lefties. And Montgomery had been coming off of a weak outing against the Orioles, where the Yankees gave him a big lead and he just wasn't able to hold it. But what we've seen with Montgomery since he's been a Yankee is that he'll step up in a big moment and he kind of pitches to the score. And with the Yankees offense being what it's mostly been this year, it didn't do anything at all. And just to get right into it statistically, what Carlos Rodon and Jordan Montgomery did in this game was nothing short of really spectacular, where Rodon goes 6 innings, gives up only 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 13 strikeouts. 13 strikeouts in 6 innings for Rodon. Montgomery goes 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, 11 strikeouts. So those were records, I believe. I forget what it was, but it was, no runs, no walks, and 24 strikeouts combined for Rodon and Montgomery. Again, just putting up zeros for an extremely long time. I'm trying to go inning by inning here and just seeing if there was any true rallies that I can recall. Yes, bottom of the 3rd. So let's get it right started in the bottom of the 3rd. And just keep in mind, we found out before this game that Aaron Hicks is going to get that wrist surgery, and there's a good chance he's going to be out for the season. Again, Hicks has been totally injury prone his whole career, and even when he's healthy, he doesn't produce a whole lot. So that 7-year extension, questionable at the time, looking more and more questionable by the day. And so there was that. But in this game, it was basically the lineup that you would expect. We're seeing a lot of Miguel Andujar in left field, and Gardner is going to get those opportunities in center with Tyler Wade, in effect, that backup center fielder. Like I said, let's jump to the 3rd. With 1 out, Miguel Andujar would single. Brett Gardner was a very lucky play. Gardner hits a ball at the second base, and Andujar played it right. He was the runner at first. It looked like maybe it was going to be caught by Madrigal. It wasn't. For some reason, he doesn't try to make the out at second. Andujar would have been dead to rights. Not to his fault, but just the way the play went. He decides to make a hard throw to first, and everyone's safe. And it's an error. And so Andujar moves to 3rd, Gardner moves to 2nd. So what should have been runner on first, 2 outs, becomes 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. And someone who is coming up in this situation has really not gotten it done this year, and he is one of my favorite Yankees, has been the last couple of years. DJ LeMahieu doesn't get the run-in, grounds out to first, and they get Andujar out at home. And that wouldn't be the end of LeMahieu not coming through in particularly runners on third less than 2 out situations. That's the main issue. But just in general, in key situations where LeMahieu was money, the first 2 years. He had the best numbers of runners in scoring position of all of baseball by a lot, has just simply not gotten it done when it's counted. That cannot be said enough. And then Luke Voit strikes out swinging after that. So Voit, another guy who, since he's returned, does not look good at all. And I think you need to definitely consider moving Voit down in the order at bare minimum. It makes sense, especially with some other guys starting to heat up. Voit does not belong at the top of that order right now. So they missed that opportunity in the third. Let's jump to the seventh. Top of the seventh, there's 2 outs going on, and Miguel Andujar has been doing a pretty good job in left field considering expectations. But here, Andrew Vaughn hits the ball. It's Gardner's ball, and Andujar kind of gets in front of him, and Gardner drops it. The error would be charged to Andujar, and kind of correctly so. So that would extend the inning, and it's no score at the time, and Montgomery, he's nearing the end, but Grandal would pinch hit and strike out. So no harm, no foul. Great job by Montgomery. So, it remains scoreless until the bottom of the seventh. Rodon is out. Michael Kopech is in. And with 1 out, the beginning of what was a fantastic series for Gleyber Torres would begin, where it was a Yankee Stadium home run, no question about it, but we'll take it. And Gleyber homers to make it 1-0. Bottom of the seventh. 2 innings to go, and Jonathan Loaisiga is in. Chad Green had pitched the day before. Maybe they also like the matchup better for Loaisiga, but what he did, and this was a very couple of eventful innings, the last 2 or 3 here were some of the most exciting innings I think we've seen all year from the Yankees. And Loaisiga would walk Adam Eaton, who was a pinch hitter. Then there's a wild pitch. I think Sanchez honestly could have kept it in front of him, but usually the score, they'll usually call it a wild pitch. So Sanchez could have more pass balls, but Loaisiga is charged with the wild pitch. And then Tim Anderson grounds out to third. So they get Anderson out. Voit decides not to try to get Eaton out at third. So it was good base running by Eaton, who immediately, once Gio threw it, goes to third, and Voit just doesn't try to get him out. I would have taken a chance there. Who knows how it would have went, but he doesn't. And then Nick Madrigal, runner on third, 1 out. He is like the toughest guy to strike out in all baseball. Pure contact hitter. Kind of just dunks one, like one-handed to right, ties the game up at 1. So very frustrating how the Yankees take that 1-0 lead, and then the White Sox tie it up right away. Then Moncada would hit what should have been a single to Judge, but Judge does a nice job of letting it drop in front of him and basically deking Madrigal. And so he's able to throw Madrigal out at second. And then Abreu grounds out to end the inning. And then we go to the bottom of the 8th. Kopech still in. Andujar gets a single. I believe that was his second hit of the game. Then Tyler Wade pinch runs. Great decision. And he steals. Better yet, Brett Gardner, on a very nice at-bat, singles. And so at this point, it is first and third, nobody out, and they bring in Evan Marshall, who's not a great reliever, and it's DJ LeMahieu at the plate with a chance to make up for his third inning mistake. Not mistake, but just not coming through. And yet again, he hits a tapper to short. Great play by Tim Anderson to get Tyler Wade out of home. But LeMahieu, we're so accustomed to him thriving in these key moments, doesn't come through yet again. It's a theme, folks. I don't know what else to say. And again, I can't preface this enough that I'm a huge LeMahieu fan, but we can't ignore this. And it could easily get better, but it's not so far. Then Luke Voit hits a hard smash to third. It's a line out, and they throw Gardner out at second. I guess it was a tough play for Gardner, but one could then say the base running continues to be a problem. It kind of is, but then again, to me, LeMahieu is the key at bat that inning. Doesn't come through. So it's 1-1. We go to the top of the 9th. Aroldis Chapman comes in, and Chapman, who had looked unreal for most of the season, he's looking more human now. And that showed this series. So he walks Mercedes leading off. Billy Hamilton pinch runs for Mercedes, and I was worried when I saw that. Luis Garcia hits a sacrifice bunt, and Chapman should have been able to feel this. He bobbles it like 3 times, and Garcia's safe. It's an error on Chapman. Everybody's safe. First and second, no outs. And then comes up to the plate Andrew Vaughn. Andrew Vaughn, believe it or not, would ground into a triple play. Gio at third is just so good. He is so good at gobbling the ball up. Has a great arm, accurate arm. Just Urshela is a tremendous fielder. And a great turn by Odor at second as well. Really great turn by Odor. And so it's a 5-4-3 triple play. So exciting, unexpected, honestly. And in the ninth inning. And so we're 1-1 going to the bottom of the ninth. And it would end pretty quickly. And it's the guys up right now who you would want to be up. It's an Aaron Judge single, Gio Urshela single, and Gleyber Torres tried to be the hero of the seventh, but he would be the hero in the ninth. And it would be an RBI single for Torres to win the game 2-1. Another walk-off hit for Gleyber. At this point, you're seeing Gleyber's really starting to come through in these runners in score position scenarios. Like, I guess behind Gio, he might be the guy I'd want up there in those key moments. And he delivers. So a very exhilarating, exciting 2-1 Yankee win. Again, pitching ruled here. Pitching ruled. I think Montgomery in this outing might have been his best outing of his career. I really believe that. So Yankees take the first game. We head to game two. And it would be Dylan Cease against Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole coming off an outing that wasn't great for him. Not even close to his standards. And honestly, I didn't think Cole really had his best stuff in this one, but yet he was able to pitch 7 shutout innings. That's the greatness of Cole. Didn't really have his strikeout stuff. He would get 7 strikeouts, more so later on, but was just able to, again, continue to put up zeros like the rest of this pitching staff has done. In this one, LeMahieu gets the night off. After he had DH'd in that first game, gets the night off. Voit would lead off in this game, actually. And Mike Ford would play. Scoreless innings, Cole kind of just navigating through. Did not think he had his best stuff, but, made it work. And the Yankees were having trouble against Dylan Cease early until the fourth. Bottom of the fourth, with 1 out, Aaron Judge gets it going. And Judge has just been really honestly under the radar good lately. So he singles. Urshela walks. It's that combo again. And then Gleyber Torres with a 2-run double. So Gleyber yet again. And it wouldn't stop here, but Gleyber gets it going, 2-run double, and the Yankees take a 2-0 lead. And then Rougned Odor, he gets an RBI double. So Odor, for someone who doesn't get many hits, I feel as if Odor has really come up in the clutch quite a bit. I've liked Odor more than I thought I would. Brings a little bit of energy. Not a guy that you want starting every day, and as of now, that won't be the case. But in a pinch, Odor seems to be a guy that has been stepping up more than I would have thought. And so that would make it 3-0. Then the Yankees would score 2 more in the bottom of the fifth. As Luke Voit would get a leadoff single. Gardner would then single, so it's first and second. A wild pitch by Dylan Cease moves Voit and Gardner to third and second. Judge would strike out swinging. So not what you want in that moment, but, he's been fine, so you can't kill him there. Urshela walks, so you got bases loaded, 1 out. And who is it again? Gleyber Torres with a 2-run single makes it 5-0. That's just what he's doing. And so in the sixth, Mike Ford hits a mammoth home run solo shot to make it 6-0. And then in the seventh, it would be a leadoff single by Torres. Odor would pop out, and then Miguel Andujar gets an RBI double, his first extra base hit of the season. And he is starting to show some signs of life. And so the Yankees take a 7-0 lead. You would see Justin Wilson pitch the eighth. It would be Luis Sessa pitching the ninth. So this was a very much easy win for the Yankees. 7-0. Gleyber Torres with 4 RBIs. Again, the star hitter of the game. Cole, Wilson, and Sessa pitch, scoreless baseball. And to that point, the Yankees had only given up 1 run in 4 games. And really, it could have been easily avoided. It was the play where there's that wild pitch that maybe Sanchez could have stopped, and then Voit decides not to throw to third on the ground ball, and then Madrigal gets that bloop single. That was the only run that was scored against the Yankees in 4 days. Just crazy stuff. So now the Yankees are going for that sweep. And I think it's important because, again, you have, in particular, Tampa on a 10-game winning streak. And Boston as well, playing good baseball. So this AL East is not letting up. So the Yankees got to continue to win games. And so in this matchup, it would be Dallas Keuchel versus Jameson Taillon. What I've noticed with Taillon is he's actually not been half bad in his home starts. He's really struggled on the road, but at home, he's been quite all right. And that would continue today. And key for him because, another bad start here. And I think fans would have really been clamoring to maybe see Davy Garcia or something else. But got to remember, Tyone's coming off of Tommy John surgery. It's not going to click right away. I think it's been 9 starts now. So he does deserve more time. And this was a very encouraging outing. So in this one, in the very interesting play in the top of the first, where with first and second one out, Abreu hits a fly ball to Andujar, and Andujar makes a very nice sliding catch, but on the field it was ruled that it bounced. And so for the moment, Andujar throws to third, gets the force, throws to second, gets that force. But they would review it, and Andujar actually did catch it. So it's funny how the review of him catching the ball actually hurt the Yankees. But no harm, no foul, as Tyone would strike Mercedes out to end the inning. Then in the first, Yankees get a little lucky, where with one out, Luke Voit hits a ground ball to Keuchel, and it's an error. And Keuchel's usually a pretty good fielder for a pitcher. So then Aaron Judge singles. Gio, uncharacteristically on a 3-0 count, pitch was outside, swings, and grounds out to the catcher, but the runners would move up to second and third for who else? Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres gets a 2-run single. If he can keep this up, that is going to be huge for this team because he was really struggling for a while, and his whole game has gotten better, honestly. His defense has really been pretty superb lately, and I like it doesn't seem like he's trying to hit home runs. He's looking to go up the middle, and that's what he's doing. So that would make it 2-0. Yeah, I mean, again, for Tyone, really does a great job. And I think the Yankees, they've been really inducing that double play ball quite a bit. So where I said the Yankees were hitting into a lot of double plays, they're also getting a lot on the defensive side. And that has helped out this pitching immensely. And it seems like it's mostly where Gio's starting these double plays, and it's been key. So Tyone ends up going 5. And I understand why he was done. I do. Just because the third time around in the order has been tough for Tyone. So I understand wanting to get him out of there. But what was interesting was that Wandy Peralta would come in, well, actually before that, in the bottom of the 5th, LeMahieu leadoff single, Voit walk, Judge walk, Keuchel's out. They bring Evan Marshall in, and unfortunately, Gio grounds into a double play. The run would score from third, LeMahieu, to make it 3-0. But Gio, as great as he's been, I've noticed just over the last week or so, there have been some key double plays again. You're not going to be too hard on Gio, but the run does score, and so that makes it 3-0. Wandy Peralta comes into the 6th. And what we're noticing here is that Peralta is clearly the top lefty guy right now. It's not Justin Wilson for obvious reasons. And what's been pretty strange is I don't think Lucas Licky pitched all week. I don't think he's injured. It's just surprising that Licky hasn't pitched whatsoever. I know the starting pitching has been so good, but it's something to monitor, and I'm just wondering why. I'm not even saying that I would have brought Licky in, but it's tough. Peralta against this right-handed heavy team, I'm admitting I don't know where I would have went with it. And, maybe if a guy like Darren O'Day were healthy, he would have been in. Maybe if a guy like Luis Cessa was more trusted, he'd be in that spot. But it's Peralta who gets the lefty Lamb to ground out, but then he walks Moncada. And that's not what you want, especially with Jose Abreu on deck, who crushes a 2-run homer. That makes it 3-2. Peralta's out of the game. Green comes in and gets the final 2 outs of the inning. But in the bottom of the 6th, the Yankees would score. And it was lucky. Sanchez with a leadoff walk. Andujar then lines out. Clint Frazier singles. That would be his second hit of the game. And then Brett Gardner hits a ground ball to the pitcher, who throws it to Tim Anderson at second for the out. And then Anderson should have just eaten the ball, should have just held it. Decides to try to get Gardner into the double play. And it goes past Abreu, and Sanchez scores. Abreu also probably should have not let that happen either. He probably should have gotten off the bag or just caught it. But, poor fielding right there for the White Sox that gives the Yankees a run they probably didn't deserve. And so the Yankees make it 4-2. And then LeMahieu flies out with Gardner on second. It would be 4-2 at this point. Top of the 7th, with Green still in the game, Yasmani Grandal, it's a leadoff home run. Solo shot. That was a play where Clint Frazier tried to rob it, was unsuccessful. Maybe with Judge's height, if he had been out there, he might be able to make that play. But unfortunately, it's a home run. But Green would get the final 3 outs of the inning. So Green gets 5 outs, does give up that solo homer. And so now we head to the top of the eighth. Jonathan Loaisiga is in. There's some defensive switches as well, as Tyler Wade's in the game. Voit is out at this point. Wade would come in to play second at this point, and then he would eventually move over to left to replace Andujar, and then Odor would come in to play second base. And all those moves made sense, but in the eighth, Jake Lamb gets the leadoff single, then Moncada strikes out, and then that key double play. 5-4-3 Urshela to Wade to LeMahieu. Abreu grounds into that double play, so Loaisiga gets the job done. Then in the bottom of the eighth, Aaron Bummer, the lefty, comes in. Glaber with a leadoff single. Sanchez with a slow ground out, so Torres moves to second. And then, unfortunately, and I don't really blame him too much for this, because if it works, it's helpful. Torres gets caught stealing, and I believe he was safe, and then he was off the bag. So it was the right call. It was originally ruled a stolen base, challenged, caught stealing. So, head to the ninth. Aroldis Chapman had been perfect all year in terms of not giving up any runs, and it kind of felt like eventually it was going to come to an end. And unfortunately, it would in the ninth. So Mercedes lines out to left where Tyler Wade had moved to, and then Andrew Vaughn pinch hits for Adam Eaton, and he hits an impressive home run opposite field to tie the game up at 4. And you're feeling at this point, wow, the Yankees just can't get a sweep. They're 1-6 with sweep chances. It's going to happen again, isn't it? And then he walks Grandal, and then there's a wild pitch. But he's able to get Luis Garcia to ground out, and then Madrigal strikes out swinging. So luckily Chapman keeps it tied. We head to the bottom of the ninth. Clint Frazier, who I should have mentioned, came back this series from the neck issues that he had. I believe this was actually Frazier's first start. I think he came in the Saturday game in a pinch hit appearance. So this was actually his first start. He gets 3 hits. He looked fine. So Frazier gets that single to start it. Gardner strikes out, but Frazier's still second. So again, no worse for wear for Clint. He looked health-wise fine. So it's runner on second, 1 out, and they intentionally walk LeMahieu, which I didn't quite understand that. With the way LeMahieu's been hitting, it's basically, do you want to face LeMahieu and Wade, who again was in the game in Voigt's spot in the order, or would you rather face Wade and Judge? I'd rather face LeMahieu and Wade, especially because you're not going to double off Wade. And that's kind of case in point, where Wade hits a little dribbler to second, and he beats it out. He has the speed. If it's on the ground and it's hit slowly, he's going to beat it out. So it's an infield single for Wade, bases loaded, 1 out, and they bring in the closer, Liam Hendricks, to face Aaron Judge. And he just didn't have it, and that's tough. To bring in a reliever, even though it's Hendricks, who's a good reliever, into that type of situation, he just couldn't find the zone. It's a walk-off walk for Judge. His first ever walk-off, actually, in his career. And the Yankees win another walk-off 5-4. So Yankees improved to 28-19. It's basically a 3-way tie for first in the AL East, as the Rays, Red Sox, and Yankees all have 19 losses. The Yankees will continue their homestand against the Blue Jays, a team that they have lost already 2 series to, both 2 out of 3. And Toronto's reeling right now. Toronto does play tomorrow to end their 4-game set against Tampa, in which they've lost the first 3 games of that series. It's a key game for Toronto to win heading into the Yankee series. Pitching matchups wise, I know for the Yankees it's going to be Kluber, Herman, and Montgomery. And Kluber, of course, should get a pretty good, nice ovation from the Yankee Stadium crowd coming off of his no-hitter. We'll see how he does coming off of that. And for the Blue Jays, I believe that it's going to be a lot of lefties, at least 2. And the Blue Jays have a very lefty staff, but I think it's going to be former Met Steven Matz. So I think it'll be Matz versus Kluber. I think it'll also potentially be former Met Anthony Kay, possibly. And this is just speculation on my part against Herman. And then it'll be Robbie Ray, lefty Robbie Ray against Montgomery. Here, with how well the Yankees are doing, just continue to win series. Again, asking for a sweep is way too difficult against a good Blue Jay team who has already taken 2 series from the Yankees. But this being home, you really do want to take 2 out of 3. I will be upset if they lose the series in any form, even if we take 1. With how well we've been playing, I really want to take this series. This is a big one to me. Against the Blue Jays, at home, let's take 2 out of 3 at least, and let the good times roll.